Hi, this is Kyle with Curium Sports Recovery. Today we're going to go over our exercises for our pickle elbow or tennis elbow program. So first we're going to start with a tennis ball, which I'm assuming you guys have. We're going to put this kind of on the outside of the forearm here, kind of in that meaty part of that forearm. We're then going to put that against the wall and then kind of use our hips to pin that wall against the ball and the wall. So here we're going to kind of roll around just a little bit. Don't need a ton of movement here. We're going to keep our hand nice and loose and then moving our wrist around in circles. Something you can do here too is just kind of keep your other hand around the ball, because at times you'll move and then it'll kind of slide out like that. So just so you don't have to bend down and pick it up a bunch, you can hold that hand close by, but we're just looking for any tender spots there. As we do this, if you do find a tight spot, kind of keep it in that position. You can put a little bit more pressure if you want to. And then again, we can rotate the hand a little bit, flex it, extend it. Just working on that tissue, kind of desensitizing it to the usual kind of tightness that can build up if we have this tennis elbow or pickle ball elbow problem. Our next exercise is our wrist curl, or wrist flexion curl. So first we're going to do this. If you have greater than 3 out of 10 pain, we're going to start with just an isometric. Meaning, so we're going to start with our palm up, weight in our hand, and you don't need too much weight here. And forearm is going to be supported, making sure we're kind of at a good height to where our shoulder isn't shrugging up or we're not leaning too far forward. But so we're in a good position here. We're going to curl the palm up towards the ceiling, and then we're just going to hold this for 30 seconds. This is what you would do again if you have greater than 3 out of 10 pain. So holding 30 seconds, and then you can relax. If you're doing this and you don't have any pain, then we're going to take it through the full range of motion, down and up, making sure we're nice and controlled here. It's really easy to just kind of go through these without really thinking or paying attention, but can we be controlled throughout the motion, and especially kind of on the way down as well. Our next exercise is our wrist extensor raises. So here, just like the wrist flexor, but instead of the palm being up, we're going to start with the palm facing down. And then again, if you have a greater than 3 out of 10 pain, we're going to start with the isometric, or the hold portion. So palm starts down, we lift it up, and then we just hold here for 30 seconds. If, again, you don't have 3 out of 10 pain while doing this, then we can take it through the full range of motion, all the way up, all the way down, nice and controlled, taking our time and not speeding through this. And again, thinking about our shoulder position, we don't want to be leaning and shrugging as we do this, but nice and controlled with the shoulder blade back. Our next exercise is our wrist pronation. So we're going to start with holding onto the edge of a dumbbell. Here, starting with our palm in kind of a neutral position, or continental grip for you tennis players and pickleball players, we're going to let our hand rotate so our palm is facing up, and then controlling the weight the other direction to where our palm is facing down. Again, as we are slowly rotating this, making sure we're not trying to move too much with that elbow, but again, we're trying to train this motion, which, you know, a lot of times when we're doing our top spin, these are the muscles that can get irritated if we're doing this over and over and over again. So the more we can build up the resiliency of the tissue and put it under load, but in a controlled manner, we'll be better prepared for those higher loads. If you guys don't have a light dumbbell to do this at home, you can also use a broomstick or a PVC pipe or something, and just kind of grab it in the middle, or grab to start, and then as it's getting easier, then you can do the same thing, just grabbing towards the end. But can we control through the whole range of motion, all the way out, all the way back in, but smooth throughout the entire movement. Our next exercise is our wall push-up. So we're going to start in something you guys might have done, but a little bit different variation. So here, our hands are going to be about shoulder height. We're going to lower that just a little bit. Then we're going to lower ourselves towards the wall like we're going to do a push-up, and then push away. Pretty simple, but we're going to get into some very key intentional things that we need to do to make it the most effective exercise. So first we're gonna lower, and we're gonna be lowering with the weight in the base of our palm as we come down. And then when we push up, we're gonna transfer the weight to the middle of our hand and then through the fingertips as we straighten those arms, which we're not straightening them out all the way. We're gonna keep our elbows slightly bent throughout the duration of this exercise. But again, as we push away, the weight should be kind of through base of the fingertips and then up through the fingertips. So again, we're going to lower base of the palm, and then as we push up, pushing through the base of the fingertips and then the fingertips going through this motion here. And you should start to feel that with the bottom of the forearm and the tricep working. A couple compensations that people make here is that when they lower, their fingertips will come off, and then when they push up, the bottom of the palms will come off. Or even you'll see, and this would be a good example if you need this, is when you push up, you'll kind of start to shake, and then that bottom of the palm will come off. But we're trying to keep our hands flat on the wall the whole time. After that, the other kind of common compensation is the elbows kind of go out to the sides. They flare out like that, but we're trying to keep them close by the sides as we do this movement. If that's really easy, you can do it with one hand. Same thing, lower with the weight in the base of the palm, transfer to the fingertips as we push away. Our next exercise is our shoulder sweep. So we're gonna start laying down. Legs are straight. We're gonna keep one knee across the body here. So I'm gonna start with my left side. From here, I'm gonna keep that knee down with my right hand. This is super important. We're not gonna sacrifice this knee coming up during the movement. From here, I'm gonna have my left arm, and I'm gonna try and make a nice big circle, kind of like a snow angel, across and then back up. So we're trying to get our hand as close to the ground as possible through the entire range of motion. You might notice that there's a little bit of a sticking point, usually around this 2 o'clock area, which is the case for me as well. But trying to work towards getting our hand closer to the ground, and again, not letting this knee come up. Otherwise, if my knee came up, I could do this easy peasy, but we're gonna keep that knee down, working on our thoracic rotation, as well as our shoulder mobility and our pec as we open this up. And you might notice as you go from one side to the other side, one side might be a lot tighter than the other one side might be a little bit easier. This is a test, but also a stretch and an exercise. You can see the improvements you're making as you incorporate this into your routine. Our next exercise is our T's and our Y's. So we're gonna start on our stomach here, which you can do on the ground or on a bench or even on your bed. From here, we're gonna keep our arms out to the side, our thumbs up toward the ceiling. We're gonna keep our head just a couple inches off the ground, and we're gonna start with pinching our shoulder blades back, lifting our hands up towards the ceiling, holding for a second, coming back down. Just like this, pretty simple movement, but can we do this without shrugging our shoulders up towards our ears? Can we keep the shoulders away from the ears through the movement and nice and controlled and not like letting the hands fall down to the ground? Those are the T's. The Y's, arms are about 45 degrees, thumbs are still up towards the ceiling, and then again lifting, hold for a couple seconds, come back down. This one should be a little bit harder, but really trying not to shrug and try and feel this a little bit more mid-back as opposed to in those upper traps. Next exercise is our band pull-aparts. So we're going to start with a TheraBand here. Arms are going to be out in front of you. And just like our T's that we did before, we're going to start with a shoulder blade pinch. Then with the palms up, we're going to pull out to the side, hold for a couple seconds, come back in. Again, shoulder blade pinch, out to the side, come back in. A couple things to think about with this are that, one, we're not arching our back a bunch as we pull out to the side. we're not going like just in and out super fast, but we're controlling out and on the way in. And then you can also do this with a band like this as well. Same thing, palms up, shoulder blades pinched out to the side. This truly is just the same T that we did on the ground where we were here, but now we're up vertically. Our next exercise is the shoulder taps. Here we're going to start in a push-up position. Feet are going to be a little bit wider than a normal push-up position. And then we're going to kind of shift our weight into one arm as we tap the shoulder, putting the hand back, tapping the shoulder. Big thing here is we're not rotating the hips as we do this. We're also not speed going through this, but we're working on our shoulder stability as we can hold ourselves up, as well as our core, and using this as a anti-rotational exercise. And that's why we're trying to avoid the hips rotating as well. But can we be slow and in control?